Welcome to this new tutorial. So someone suggested that I covered how to do a block and parry system. So this is what we're gonna work on today. I don't know if we're gonna be able to finish it, but at least we're gonna start to work on it. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is to go to my abilities and make a new one. I'm gonna call it block. Select an input. I'm gonna use my right mouse button to block, and I do want to rotate my character, and I think that's pretty much it. Now from here, what I want to do is to apply a gameplay effect. Let's do apply gameplay effect to road, and then in this ability. Now let's make a gameplay effect to apply. Let's go to gameplay effect, and I'm gonna make a new one. I'm gonna call this, let's see, blocking. It's going to be an infinite, duration infinite. Tag to target actor. We've done this before. And I'm gonna make a new tag for it. Let's create gonna create a state tag for the different state my character can be to. Let's say state and call this blocking. While we are here, I'm just gonna make a state that vary also. This is gonna be our blocking. Cool. Now we can go back here and apply this gameplay effect. Let's go to my character. And set that up here. So I want to give this new ability. I'm gonna add it into the section here and give my block ability. Alright, cool. So now I'll press play. Let's see. I already see that in owning tag this state.block, and I see 5 of them, which is not what I want. So first thing first, I'm gonna go here and do aggregated by targets, limit the stack amount to 1. And the second thing I'm gonna do is, I know what happened. Let me check my input. Right, yeah, figured. So it should be right mouse button here, and left, that's why. Okay, so that's fixed. Let's try again. So now if I do this, there's nothing. Now if I hold my, or press my right mouse button, I see state blocking being applied to my character now. Now of course it doesn't get removed. And also, in most games, usually when you're blocking, you just hold whatever the block button is, and then when you release it is when you stop blocking, right? So this is the behavior that we want. So let's try to do this here. What I want is to apply a gameplay effect when I press the block button, and then whatever here the input button. I'm gonna wait for that input to be released. And on release, what we're gonna do is we are going to remove gameplay effect. Let's use the one with the handle. Right, and then we're gonna end the ability. Okay, so for the handle, you can get it from here because this returns a handle. So we can just plug that in here. Right, so now as soon as we press the button, it's gonna activate the ability, apply our blocking effect, and wait for us to release the button. Then when we release it, it's gonna remove this gameplay effect. Let's test this out. So I'm holding it and I release it. Alright, it's working. Nice. So as long as I'm holding it, I see that my state is I keep the tag state blocking, and then when I release it, it goes away. Perfect. It's exactly what I want. Okay, so I guess this is done here. Now we do not see any blocking animation. We should probably work on that to get a blocking animation. Well, I did add these tags. The blocking tag, I did add that in my blueprint here. It's not in the C++, so I should probably move that in C++. So let's go to Rider, and I'm gonna go to tags here. And here I'm gonna make a new gameplay tag and call it states. Now that we are done with this, let's go to our component and combat component. So what we want is to, when we apply the blocking tag to our character, we want to see, we want our character to change its state and start blocking, right? We want to see some animation. The way I'm gonna do this, let me close that, is by using it. I think I'm just gonna do a delegate here. Yeah, delegate should work fine. Yeah, let's use that. So, declare dynamic delegate. Alright, okay. Where is it? Params. Let's go on. Tag changed. Gameplay tag. Passing it tag. And then in32. Passing in a new count. Alright. So what I'm doing here is basically the same thing that we've done before. Let's find it here. Here we did we binded the tags to our ability system component so that when a tag is added, we can respond to it. I want to do the same thing, but from my AnimInstance, right? So what I'm gonna do is make it so that when we're gonna bind to this delegate here from our AnimInstance, and make it so that when a tag is added, same as here, it is broadcast broadcasted to the AnimInstance. And the way we're gonna do that is first thing, let's finish this. So we got our dynamic delegate here. I'm gonna go down here, public, and do a U property. That, and I need to create a, I'm gonna go up here, oops, make a new function, make it net multicast, make it reliable, do a void multicast, broadcast, tag changed. Oh, that's why it's not working. I must disappear. Okay, so this should be a multicast delegate. That's why. Alright, yeah. That should fix it. Declare dynamic multicast delegate. Let's see. Okay, that's fixed. That was the issue. Anyway, now that we have this, what we are gonna do is use this binding that we use the existing binding that we have here in handle tag change. I'm gonna put that right here, right after we are done with the application of removing effect, activating abilities, and all that. I'm going to call my multicast, broadcast, and passing in the tag and the new count. So now this information is sent to whichever class is binded. It has binded themselves to this delegate here. Alright, now this is gonna broadcast the tag and the new count to whoever is binded to this delegate here. In our case, we want our AnimInstance to be binded to it. Now, before we do that, I need to make sure that my combat component is valid before we do this binding here. So I'm gonna go to my player character. Down here, right, and here is where I'm doing the binding for the tags, and right below it, let's do a get combat component. We need to set, so we need to get access to the AnimInstance. For that, I'm gonna need to my AnimInstance. My god, losing my voice. Alright, I'm gonna make a in the private here, we can create a new property and do a new combat component. Set it to null pointer. Make sure we have the includes. And let's make a function here. I'm gonna call it void set combat component. Just gonna take it into combat component. And then you can do that from here. Just to combat component equals in combat component. Alright. So this is how we're gonna set our combat component here. Right? Just call this function, and whatever we pass in here is gonna be set here. All good. Another function that I'm gonna need is let's do void line changed. Alright, so now we can go back to our player. We can use AnimInstance, use set combat component, get combat component, and after it's set, we can do the line tag change. I need to do the same thing for my enemy character also, so I'm just gonna copy all this to the enemy. Right, and then right here, I'm just gonna paste that. And of course we need the includes, so don't forget your includes, right? For your AnimInstance and combat component. Alright, so that should be it. These, we can close these, we don't need that anymore. Alright, let's close that. Now let's work with this one. So let's make a definition for this function. Now what do we want to happen here? I want to make sure that my combat component is valid, and then from there I can do combat component on tag change dot add unique dynamic with add unique. And yeah, here we go. Add unique dynamic. This, and we need a function to call. So let's pick that. It can be private. Yeah, let's put it here. It's gotta be a U function, otherwise we won't be able to call it there. And let's call it void handle state change. Whatever. You can call it whatever you want. Let's do a const give me tag int32 new count. Right. So now we have our function to call. So here we can do this and AnimBP this function. Fantastic. I'm gonna do something first. I know that sometimes when I don't do this I get errors, so I'm just gonna make sure that before I add unique, I'm just gonna remove dynamic this, and then the UTP blah blah blah. Just to make sure that we are not we're not trying to bind the same function twice. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just try to remove it. If there's any function that is already binded, I'm just gonna remove it first and then do our binding. Just safety. And now here in handle state tag change, what do we want to do? So now here, what we want to happen in handle state tag changed is I'm gonna first include my tags, right? Because I'm gonna use it here. Now we can do if check the tag that's been added. If it's a tp gameplay tags get blocking. Actually, you know what? Let's move them down here. Yeah, they'll be fine. No, I can just copy this. Let's paste that here and paste that here. Alright. Actually, I don't need the parrying one. I just need the blocking. We're gonna handle parry in a different way. Blocking here. Makes more sense. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, where was I? So here we're checking if the tag being added is the blocking tag now. New count will tell us if the tag is being added or removed. So what I'm gonna do here is just a bIsBlocking equals new count is greater than 0. All that this does is just checking if new count is greater than 0. In this case it's true, then we know that the tag is being added, so bIsBlocking should be true. Now if new count is 0 or less than 0, then we are removing the blocking tag, then bIsBlocking should be false. Alright, I think we are done here for now. Yeah, let's compile. Yeah, let's compile. Okay, now that we are in, let's go to our character and the player character. Work on this a little bit. So let's make a new state here, state machine. A new state machine. I'm gonna call this So this is gonna be our block animation, right? I've got the block animation, and let's go to locomotion. From locomotion, I'm going to drag this out and create a state here. Call it blocking, and return here. Now, when do we want to transition to the blocking state? Let's open this and check is blocking. If our is blocking is true, then we want to transition to this animation here. Block, right? Where is it? Cache pose block. This one. Plug that in here. Yep. And we want to transition back if is blocking. It is blocking is not true, so just not boolean. And plug this in here. Perfect. That's done. And now we have main state here. So we can just do state, main state. And use my does that make sense? Maybe wait, now this one here. This should have been here. It should have been in main state, right? I think. Yeah, leave locomotion empty, so it's just yeah, I think yeah, let's do it like that. Is blocking, so I'm just gonna add it here instead. Is blocking, and this one, same thing, is blocking. Let's do it not boolean. Plug that in here. Alright, so now what we have is locomotion. That's our locomotion. Then we have a block. That's our block. We have the animation here. And then we have a main state, which transition from the main state to blocking by checking the boolean is blocking. This one is not blocking. And then we plug the main state here. Alright, let's test this out, I guess. So I right click, nothing happens. Alright, let's figure out why. I did figure out why it wasn't working. Reason being is we did not register the tag. So if we go to our combat component, we need to register the blocking tag also here. So let's do that. So state blocking. Alright. Now it's registered. Now if I try again. Look at that. Working. Nice. As long as I'm holding it. Wait, it's actually not playing the animation yet. Yeah. Let's go to blocking. Here. I click on this and then make sure that this animation is checked. Now. There we go. That looks good. Now the problem is, if we try to move while we are blocking, we get this. And also we would want to reduce maybe our movement speed while we are blocking, right? So let's work on that next. I think I will keep that for the next tutorial. I'll stop here for now, and we will work on the movement speed and the blending of the animation in the next tutorial.